Hi everyone, so this is your video tutorial on how to create your surreal landscape. So once you've selected your landscape photo from Google Images, you'll want to open the image by going to File, Open Image. You'll select that image. You can select whatever setting you think will work best for you. I like to try and go the maximum amount for quality. So we're going to duplicate our layers twice, okay? Once and twice, okay? So we have 3 layers. One, you're going to keep colorful so you can see the color. The next one, you're going to go to Adjust, Auto Black and White, and then I'll make it black and white, and then the next one, you go Adjust, Black and White. So now we have just the values of the photo. You want to make sure your opacity for your brush is at 50%. You can play with the brush size to see how it works best for you, which one works best for you. I definitely recommend the softer brushes for this because you do want the brush to be see-through and it wants to be more like a painterly effect, whereas these are more harder edged brushes. So these 2 lines will work better for you. You'll want to make sure you select the draw tool. So when you're painting a landscape, you definitely want to make sure that you are painting starting with the sky, the area that's furthest in the background, okay, because then we have to layer moving forward. So that way what you paint here can get pushed to the background when you add color to the trees and the land here, and then that way everything looks like it's in its proper order. So to get started with the paint, you can select whatever color you would like for the sky, for the clouds. I'm going to go with a really crazy pink here. And then you can use your stylus or your mouse and you can start to paint the clouds. Okay. Now that brush size is rather small, so I'm going to go in and change it. Definitely, you'll want to play with the size of your brush. It might take you a couple of tries to get the right brush size that works best for you. I think that one works nice. So you'll want to color along, and it will go over some of the objects that are in the front of the clouds, like those trees there, but we're going to take care of that later. And I'm not going to finish this whole picture just because it's just to go over the steps for you. Okay, so pretend I've colored in all of the clouds here, and I'm going to add another shade of pink for some value changes. Now when you're working, you want to try and match the value that you see. Okay, so I chose hot pink because those clouds are rather high in value. And you can see here, when we click on the other background, when you click here and you turn off that eye, then it erases the color. It just makes it disappear. Then when you click the eye, it comes back. But then you can use this to go back and forth and match the values. So you can see that there was some darker value here, so that helps to create a more natural looking effect. Okay. You can also turn off both of these layers to go back to the color, because sometimes you might want to use the same colors that are in here, and that can be really helpful to have that colored photo. Okay, so after this gets done, a cool effect that you can use is the Smudge tool. Okay, and the Smudge tool is going to blend some of your colors together, but it makes it a bit more intense looking, I think. It's really fun to work with. As you can see how that makes it a bit more saturated. and really blurs together. Okay, so I talked about how it does take away the paint that we added is overlapping the trees that are more in the middle ground, whereas the fog is in the background. So we are going to want to attack those trees with some color. So I need to make sure I select my draw tool again, and I need to change my brush size to make it smaller. So now we can go in and bring those trees back up to the foreground, or middle ground. So as you get more or get closer to adding detail, the way that you can do that is by selecting different hues of the color. Remember, hue is different values of a color, so different lights and darks of a color. So since that is a darker green, we might want to go in and find different shades of darker green, because those trees are a silhouette, and it just adds some really cool variations in the color and can make that look a bit more dynamic. Okay, so those are the base steps for this project. Here is an example of one that I was working on, a bit more successful with the smudge and bringing this to the foreground, adding more details here, and then this is one that's a bit more completed. Please excuse the mistake here, but this really goes to show how far you can stretch this, and this isn't done as well. I was adding some details down here at the end. Which I can show you. So I was adding, kind of fleshing out this grass here, coming out of that area. That's a bit too light of green, but you see what I'm going for here. It's fleshing out that green, really making it my own painting, and the photo really just becomes a guide at the end. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoy.